Right, this is Request once again. This is a request that's time for me, and the name of this video is Not Violent Enough for That's a Freddy's Movie Opinion. Alright, let's check it out, guys.
No, you're not gonna use it. The Five Nights at Freddy's movie completely murdered the box office, and both fans and newcomers alike have had time to share what they think. And there are plenty of thoughts on this movie. I'm Kyle with Wicked Binge, and these are Five Nights at Freddy's movie opinions we love and hate. Let's start with one of the most common opinions you'll find in discussions of the movie. The animatronics look amazing.
They do, they look great.
Here. We love this opinion. No matter how familiar you are with the games, there's just no way you can deny that the character designs are pretty much perfect.
Yeah.
Just looking at the color palettes, the colors
they look
are
great.
But
It's amazing how they did with the budget they had.
To give you both attention to detail and that uneasy sense that something is just off. As for characters themselves,
they look so cool.
Like they walked straight from the game onto the big screen. Those character designs are replicated to a T, and the way they move fits their in-game counterparts.
They're definitely scary
There's really
for
only
kids.
So many ways to say it, but we can't overstate how perfectly they nailed the visual aspect of the movie. They could have easily made well-designed costumes or even marionettes.
Like they did with fucking Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. That was a terrible movie.
Been way easier. So the fact that they went above and beyond to bring the characters to life with the same makeup they have in the games is pretty admirable. But pretty much everyone can agree there. Let's talk about a more divisive aspect. Namely, is the movie too kid-friendly? Let's be real for a second.
I mean, it is, but doesn't mean if it's a bad movie.
And I mean no way that this movie was going to be rated R. PG-13 was the best horror fans could hope for. Whether you like it or not, the FNAF franchise largely appeals to kids and young teenagers.
But they could do what they did with Megan and release an unrated version on DVD, but they didn't do that.
If you're an adult,
because they have the DVD of Five Nights at Freddy's, so that sucks, kind of.
If your answer is older than 15, you're almost certainly in the minority. All that is to say, fans knew what to expect, or more accurately, what not to expect. The extent of gore and psychological horror that the games had wouldn't be on full display in this movie. But even
there is gore, but not too much.
Unhappy with just how sanitized it was.
Freddy, this is my brother, Mike.
The most infamous scene in the movie is probably one where the animatronics play around with Vanessa, Mike, and Abby building forts for a sort of
that was kind of cheesy, but
cute, right?
It is cute, but
this is a horror film. With that said, as odd as it might seem, we don't like this opinion. Granted, we understand why people feel this way. Some reviews of the film from fans submit that while the movie is fun and enjoyable, it suffers from being a franchise that's trying to appeal to too many audiences. More specifically, it's a series primarily enjoyed by kids, even though it wasn't necessarily made for them. So we understand this.
Yeah, the game wasn't made for kids, but kids played it.
In the movie's favor. Think about it. The animatronics playing around, despite their usual murderous tendencies, actually does a good job of reflecting the fact that they're genuinely tortured souls. At heart, these guys just want someone to play with. And having one of the three main characters being an innocent child like they once were, did a nice job of letting that side of them show.
Yeah.
I just want to play.
That said, while we don't mind the movie being suitable for kids, our thoughts on the movie's lack of horror run in a very different direction.
Well,
the movie is PG-13. You can't expect it to be actually scary, right?
Well, Megan was scary, and it had PG-13, but this was...
You're probably a cartoon fan, and so you know that there are plenty of children's cartoons that can spook their audiences while remaining suitable for them. Gravity Falls, Invader Zim, The Cowardly Dog, just to name a few. There's no reason the FNAF movie couldn't have followed suit, and to its credit, it at least tries to do so to some extent. Even the legendary Moist Critical said in his review that the movie was at its best when it was trying to be scary. A good example is the scene of
maybe he gets a little budget strange or something.
And wrecking the place, that being their plan at least, until the animatronics wreck them instead. The uneasiness of the scene feels similar to the experience you'd likely get in the games. The slow building of tension followed by a brutal game over, so to speak. Unfortunately, this is really the only scene that tries to replicate said tension, and even though some of the visuals were silly, like Timmy Turner Cupcake levitating towards its victim, these are some of the movie's highlights. It's a shame it doesn't have more. So with that said, it should go without saying that we do like this opinion. We're not going to pretend we want the movie to be a gore fest, but as a whole, we would like to see more scariness in a movie about a game that's meant to be scary. Now, of all the new characters in the movie, the one we have to give her own entry is Jane, the wasted potential. This This post on Reddit from user NotTheCatMask says what many fans were thinking about Jane. Unlikable though she may be, she was a pretty solid secondary antagonist for the movie, and she had a ton of wasted potential. Jane made for a more personal villain for Mike than Freddy and the gang, or eventually Willie
She was the villain,
that,
not the
however, wouldn't stop her subplot from
animatronics.
being cut short. It's heavily implied that she was killed off screen by Golden Freddy.
She fell asleep.
While this could be untrue, given the fact that Golden Freddy says that she's just asleep. I mean, okay, Golden Freddy, come on. It's not really that much of a stretch to think that the kid/robot bear who's been manipulating people throughout the whole movie would be willing to kill a few people to get his hands on a new playmat. We sadly can't buy the theory that Jane is alive, but we do like this opinion, because we can certainly buy the absolute fact that her potential was wasted. After her likely permanent nap on the floor, Jane is never seen or even mentioned again. Did Mike ever discover her? Did one of the animatronics take her on as a host? Hopefully we'll see her in a sequel, because there is undeniably more
They're making another one, I've heard,
this lady.
which I'm excited for.
We don't mind. The last of the popular opinions we'll talk about today is whether or not the movie diverts too much from the canon series. Which, okay, I'll be honest, you guys, I'm not an expert on the FNAF games. There's like 70-something game theory videos.
I played some of it when I
on the
was in
series,
school.
and that's like One Piece episode count levels of intimidating. What I do know, however, is that fans all over the internet have been pointing out cool references in the series in this movie. From the games to the surprisingly popular books, fans seem to
I read some of the books too.
of Easter eggs. It's the changes to
I might have one of the
books
books as well. I think about it.
Vanessa being William Afton's daughter, which has split the fandom down the middle. We don't want to have a dog in either end of this fight, but we'll say that while we are neutral on this opinion, a little bit of creative liberty is sometimes needed to adapt a game onto the big screen. It wouldn't be fair to compare this to the Mario movie, given how different this
I've never
series
seen the
are,
Mario
especially
movie.
in terms of story.
You need
But
to
they
watch
share
that.
similarities in regards to changing some story elements from the games. And if you've spent years studying FNAF lore, the ways the movie diverts might upset you a bit, and that's totally valid. But enjoying the story for its own surprisingly well-crafted thing is also valid. So yeah, there's absolutely no shortage of stuff to talk about with this movie. But there's really only one way to end off a video like this. How did we like the movie? First off, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the infamous Rotten Tomatoes score. As of the writing of this
Rotten
script,
Tomatoes.
the film has a 30% critic score.
Yeah, down on.
Admittedly, we can sort of, kind of see why, maybe. It can be a bit confusing for a non-fan, and for a horror game adaptation, it's not very scary. But this movie does seem to be a movie made for the fan base. And the audience score has a whopping 88%. While some fans have mixed thoughts on things like the new characters, the diversions from canon, etc., audiences enjoyed this movie for one reason above all else. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's all the movie has to be, a lot of fun.
Who are big FNAF fans, and we all had a fun time. It might not be a cinematic masterpiece, but to weirdly bring up the Mario movie again, it's good for the same reasons. For all its faults as a movie,
it's not as good as Megan, but
story with strong visuals and a genuinely fun vibe. And for fans,
I liked it.
Because of all the
I bought it on DVD.
Media it's based on. To sum it up, we liked the FNAF movie. If you're a big fan of the game series, I can see how you'd absolutely love it. And if you just happen to be friends with a big fan or two, it's also great. You get to enjoy the movie with some help for context, and you don't have to worry about which theories you got right, because you didn't even try. Isn't ignorance great? See you guys at the sequel for sure.
I mean, like I said, the movie wasn't like the best, but it was definitely on my list of 2023 horror films, because I think it was like number 5 or 4 on my top 5. I enjoyed it. I don't get why people hate it so much. I'm like, I mean, yes, PG-13, but this PG-13 horror movie had to be. Is there good ones? Yes, there are. Megan, The Ring, The Grudge. We have good PG-13 movies, people. A horror movie doesn't have to be rated R to be good. It just has to have likable characters, a good villain, good story, and good shots, and at least a couple scenes of kills, off-screen or on. I don't care if it's PG-13. I just care if it's going to be good by itself. But plus, you can watch it with your little brother or your little sister. It's a movie for all ages. But yeah, this is my last video film for tonight, guys. I got some Burger King I want to eat over there. And plus, I wanted to talk to my girlfriend privately. So yeah. With that said, thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Let me know what you think of Five Nights at Freddy's in the comments below. And see you guys in the next video. Until tomorrow, have a good noon, night, morning, over. And see you all next video. Peace out, y'all, and have a good night. Always a pleasure. Bye.